Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am BookNerd802 and welcome to the second video of the day. In this one, I am going to be reviewing The Fourth Closet, the graphic novel from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. This is the third one and the final one in the trilogy by Scott Cawthon, as far as the original trilogy is concerned. Now, this one consists of about 190 pages and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. I borrowed it from the Birkirkara Public Library as I did with the other two, and I'm very pleased to announce that I've now completed the trilogy. I will be returning these very shortly because I know that many people um, look forward to reading them. They are still in very good condition, by the way. Um, so yeah, there will be several spoilers ahead. If you haven't read this one yet or the other two in the series, please click away. This was by far the most interesting of them all, in my opinion, and so much was revealed about Charlie's past through several plot twists. Now, there were many people in other reviews mentioning how confusing this became after a couple of pages because there was so much going on at the same time. I kind of agree with those people, but I found that I could keep up rather well, even though there were a couple of pages which did not really make sense to me. It was all rather convoluted for a couple of pages. Once again, this one consists of no chapters, unlike the first volume. The second volume doesn't consist of any chapters either, by the way. So weirdly enough, I had a dream a couple of days ago where, after I'd spent plenty of time chatting with the people inhabiting my unconscious state, it was all proven to be a lie since they were all hyper-realistic dolls, as was I, and that is when I woke up, kind of sweating all over because it was extremely unsettling, and I suppose that was some foreshadowing for when the time would come for me to read this graphic novel. I find it to be very strange how such coincidences happen, almost as though my mind was ready to fill in the gap that was the final volume, since I'd read the first two volumes and wanted to know what would happen next, I guess. This theme where the mind and illusions and reality and fiction blending together is one which I face on a very frequent basis, as a matter of fact. And since I just finished reading William and Mary in Roald Dahl's collection called Madness, this simply expresses my point further. I will be reviewing that very shortly, by the way. Make sure to stay tuned. So, yeah. In this one, we find that, spoiler alerts beginning now, by the way, Charlie is not the real deal, but a puppet called Circus Baby, which was built by William Afton, or Dave from the first book, the serial killer and the psychopath, to kill children. That was the whole purpose of Charlie being built, to kill and kidnap children. Afton is alive still, by the way, and he is actively trying to transfer himself into a mechanical body rather than one of flesh and blood, a theme which is also similar to that I read when I completed the William and Mary short story by Roald Dahl. Um, Not necessarily that similar, but the concept is pretty much the same. I was confused at times by how much was happening, but John's assessment was right all along. It turns out that even the Charlie we know and love is not a real human being, and the whole Sammy character, Charlie's twin, he is completely out of the picture, by the way. It was Charlie that was kidnapped and killed, and her father, Henry, to my knowledge, he put all his effort, all his heart and soul into building another daughter which would come as close as the one he'd lost as possible. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, very depressing, come to think of it, rather than creepy. Because in trying to create a daughter which would replace the one he lost, he kind of lost his mind as well, messing about with different frequencies and trying to distort reality to the point where even his wife had to leave him, and presumably she took Sammy with her as well. Let me know if I am mistaken in the comment section. So yeah, Henry destroyed his own mind using frequencies that would create the illusion of the dolls he built to appear as real. The concept of souls is very much present in the series, and emotions play a huge role too.
So the emotions Henry poured into building the dolls transcribed well into how they acted. For instance, Circus Baby's purpose was to kill children, although a bunch are saved towards the end of this volume. This is the part where I was confused because I'm not sure as to how closely William Afton and Henry worked and when they split up. Um, so yeah, that is rather confusing. Circus Baby is a robot designed by William Afton, but she takes on the form of Charlie as well. We know nothing of Sammy, and that should not have come as a surprise considering how Afton told Charlie that he'd kidnapped her, not her brother, when they encountered him in the second volume. Afton is also definitely a psychopath, but to my knowledge, he never really lied, which is kind of fascinating, even though he does try to distort reality quite a lot and mess with people's brains. He isn't that much of a liar. And even though Circus Baby's purpose was to kill children, a bunch of them are saved towards the end of this volume, and we can safely assume that many of them were not saved in the past, which is why William Afton is such a successful serial killer. And yeah, another thing to mention about this series is that it's a shame considering how many people had to die just for the truth to be uncovered. And yeah, I'm pretty sure everything burned down towards the end of the story, destroying everything that could cause any further harm or damage. But come to think of it, William Afton is probably immortal at this stage. He's pretty much a genius. So, yeah, the animatronics we know and love don't play as huge a role in this one as they do in the first two volumes, and Circus Baby basically just steals the show, especially since she looks so much like Charlie. We hardly saw any Freddy at all in this one, which was rather disappointing, to be honest. This was overall a very fun trilogy to have acquainted myself with. However, the focus on the action and the jump scares takes away from the skills that are storytelling and cohesiveness, since too much was happening at the same time in several places, and several encounters could have been avoided. They were rather repetitive, in my opinion, and if they had been avoided, the story could have been told much better. I suppose that is why I have the books as well, rather than just the graphic novels, which I borrowed from the library. So, yeah, I think that is all I had to say about The Fourth Closet, the third graphic novel in the Five Nights at Freddy's series by Scott Cawthon. As always, the illustrations are fantastic too. I'll try to find a couple which make plenty of sense, which will hint towards the whole point of the story, basically. But yeah, the plot twists were rather insane, and I was not expecting several of the things which happened to happen, if I am being totally honest with you. So, yeah, I do plan on continuing reading more about the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise because I definitely want to acquaint myself with the series even further. Um, Yeah, that's basically it from my end. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It is absolutely amazing. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.